there is an interesting contradiction that we are witnessing in real time right now. There are people who are very quick to cancel people who are very quick to say, lock them up, throw away the key. At the same time, those very same voices are saying nothing about Diddy. Now, it's not because their morals have changed. It's not because their philosophy has shifted. It's a much more simple answer to that. They're scared because they're tied up with him some way, somehow.
Candace Owens, a lot of y'all may know, has spoken out against Diddy for a long time, ever since everything went down with ClassE following the lawsuit to some of the allegations out there. But she had some more insight into the allegations that he's possibly involved with the feds, and the reason he's taking all of this so easy and relaxing is because he knows that he's going to be good at the end of the day. And this was all just to get at certain people at different levels, because there's so many celebrities who were involved and close with Diddy, and politicians have been close and involved with him as well. You see athletes. I mean, everyone knows has been directly involved with Diddy. You look at the music industry. We talked about Sony Music Entertainment on yesterday, and we talked about UMG in other cases too. We talked about Bad Boy Records. So, man, there's a lot going on here. But let's see what Candace Owens has to say.
Explosive thing that came from this document are the allegations that Diddy hosts freak-offs, essentially sexual events to procure blackmail on other people in the industry. That they all come and they have these drug-fused parties with underage boys, with underage girls. And throughout this lawsuit, he names multiple current rappers that have been involved in these parties and are therefore existing under blackmail, right? So if you can suddenly record somebody and they're hooking up with a person that is underage, if you're doing drugs and Diddy has cameras on it, well, then Diddy owns you. Which leads me to think, what even is gangster rap? It's a question that I have been asking a lot. It seems to me that there is something intentional, that they are intentionally feeding us filth via the media. And I wonder if a lot of these artists are existing within this blackmail ring. And also, where have we heard this before? Oh, yes, of course, Jeffrey Epstein, who was bizarrely protected. He was clearly an asset of not just the CIA, but also potentially the Mossad, very much involved with the Mossad over in Israel. And he, too, had so much access, so much wealth, and he got away with it for years, procuring what very clearly is blackmail on politicians. So what we are recognizing is that this ring also exists within Hollywood. Explosive allegation number 3 was that there's even a Ghislaine Maxwell, so to speak, a madame, and that is the other woman that is listed in this lawsuit. His chief of staff, Christina Karam. I don't know how journalists aren't interested in figuring out who this woman is. Her job, as alleged in this lawsuit, was to keep Diddy high. I'm going to tell you what this lawsuit says explicitly about her. According to Mr. Jones, during the 13 months he lived and traveled with Diddy, he witnessed defendant Karam openly order her assistants to keep Mr. Combs high off of gummies and pills.
Now, this is the complaint that she's talking about, is Lil Rod's complaint.
Defendant Karam required all employees, from the butler, the chef, to the housekeepers, to walk around with a pouch or a fanny pack filled with cocaine, GHB, ecstasy, marijuana gummies, and Tukey. I don't know if I'm saying that right. That's a pink drug that is a combination of ecstasy and cocaine. It was important to the defendant Karam to have Mr. Combs' drug of choice immediately ready whenever he asked for it. She also ordered, allegedly, sex workers and prostitutes for Mr. Combs, and would order the distribution of ecstasy, cocaine, GHB, ketamine, marijuana, and mushrooms to Mr. Combs and his celebrity guests who were present on his rented yacht and in his homes throughout LA, New York City, and Miami. And he alleged that he was also forced to keep that drug in a pouch on him at all times against his will. Again, this is explosive. He even lists everybody in the ring. He says that it is his Diddy's son, Justin, that solicits the prostitutes and the underage girls and the sex workers, allegedly, for these freak-offs. He also lists Stevie J, who recruits the sex workers and attends and participates in the freak-offs, and another young man named Brendan Paul, who works as Mr. Combs' mule. He acquires and distributes all of the drugs and the guns. Again, we won't have time to go through everything in this document, but I encourage you guys to read it because it is stunning. And yes, Christina Karam apparently even instructs them to mix those drugs into the liquor when these women are invited over. So why is the media not interested in this story? Well, here is explosive allegation number 4.
Interesting question.
That the person who sits at the top of this ring potentially is Sir Lucian Grange. He is the CEO of Universal Music Group.
Y'all remember us talking about this guy, Lucian, when the whole Kendrick and Drake situation was going on. Kendrick actually mentioned Well, no, it wasn't Kendrick. I take it back. It was actually Rick Ross who mentioned Lucien in a diss. And then a lot of people were looking into Drake's relationship with UMG, his deal that he signed with them. We talked about how Drake signed this $400 million deal with them essentially, and how they were possibly stepping in to make sure Drake's image was saved throughout all of this, and that they didn't take a loss on their investment in Drake. So it's interesting to see that he's involved and mentioned in this, because boy, UMG has been going through it a lot lately with some of these lawsuits. Jeez.
Actually is Sir Lucien Grange. He is the CEO of Universal Music Group. He is also being sued. He has also been named as well as Universal Music Group. And he is, as a fact, one of the most powerful men in Hollywood. He runs, again, Universal Music Group, which is huge.
Yeah.
Well, Rodney, the producer, is alleging that when Lucien would visit Diddy's house, the two of them would go into Diddy's bedroom and be locked up in there for hours. What does that mean? What are we supposed to think of that? By the way, I looked into Lucien, obviously, because I was fascinated by this document, and I find it really bizarre that he completely changed his name. He used to be Michael G., the son of Cecil G., who was a huge tailor in London. I found that in this old article. The Guardian headline is "Forgotten and Overlooked: How Jewish Designers Dressed the Beatles and Changed Global Fashion." And in this article, there's a picture of Lucien. He was then, again, Michael G. He's sitting with his father, Cecil G. And it's just bizarre that also his father changed his name. In the article, it tells you that his father used to be Sasha Goldstein. So Sasha Goldstein became Cecil G., who gave birth to Michael G., who is now Lucien Grange. I mean, totally bizarre rabbit hole if you guys want to look into it. I just thought it was weird. I did a cursory search and found all of that. Perhaps most crucial, though, in the lawsuit is that, unbeknownst to Lucien, Diddy also has a ton of hidden cameras all throughout his house, including in his bedroom, which would perhaps suggest that the blackmail runs both ways. Maybe he also has blackmail on Lucien Grange. Again, I don't know. I'm just telling you.
Oh, that is bad, man. He didn't know that Diddy had the cameras. There's no way. I mean, could this be a way of him covering himself? I don't know. But if this is the case, man, this music industry, I told y'all, I'm good. I'm good on the industry. We're going to do our own thing over here. But when it comes to these guys who are at the top of this pyramid and pulling all the strings, some weird situations they're into.
In his bedroom, which would perhaps suggest that the blackmail runs both ways.
They might be trying to get Lucien out of here.
Also, it has blackmail on Lucien Grange. Again, I don't know. I'm just telling you what's in this lawsuit and what we can derive from it if these allegations are true. And again, the fact that there are so many photos in this document at least proves that he does have evidence of some sort.
A black author with as much credibility.
Wow. All right. So one other thing, going to the celebrity side of Diddy, this is actually the TMZ documentary that was posted over on that is available over on Tubi. This part of the documentary was most interesting because it mentioned some of the actors, actresses, celebrities that were involved with Diddy and who were close to them, who haven't said anything about this whole situation that's gone on. And it's strange to see.
There's no doubt the conversations around Diddy have changed significantly since Cassie's lawsuit came out. And things that may have seemed innocent in the past are now being looked at in an entirely different way.
Yeah, and y'all know Justin Bieber has been going through it lately. Some of the things he's been posting, the music he's been creating, it's been strange to say the least.
You know, where we hanging out and what we doing, we can't really disclose. But it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream.
A video of Diddy with a then 15-year-old Justin Bieber surfaced. It was taken while Bieber was visiting Diddy's home. And given all the new allegations, it seemed, well, a little weird.
He signed to Usher.
I'm signed to Usher.
I had legal guardianship of Usher when you know he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So and we gonna go full crazy.
Going crazy.
Speculation as to what he saw at Diddy's home ran rampant on social media.
Did P. Diddy groom a very young Justin Bieber?
And people say it almost looks.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what he saw. Uh-oh, this is loading. Hold on. Let me rewind find it just
but
a
for the next
minute.
48 hours, he's with me. So, and we gonna go full crazy.
Going crazy. Speculation as to what he saw at Diddy's home ran rampant on social media.
Did P. Diddy groom a very young Justin Bieber?
And people say it almost looks.
Oh man, I might have to reload this. Y'all give me 1 second. I'm gonna try and reload it. We're at 47.
What he saw.
Forward and talking about
Usher, when you know he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So and we gonna go full crazy.
Going crazy. Speculation as to what he saw at Diddy's home ran rampant on social media.
Did P. Diddy groom a very young Justin Bieber?
And people say it almost looks like Justin Bieber didn't want to be there. It looks like it was completely scripted, and P. Diddy looked completely suspicious.
I think it's clear that Justin Bieber definitely looks uncomfortable. Watching it gives me personally a very weird pit in my stomach, especially watching it through the lens of all of the accusations against Diddy right now.
A few days
Looked like
later,
he was uncomfortable, but
bizarre video
it's
emerged
probably
of
nervous.
Diddy and Justin that just added fuel to the fire.
Selling out arenas and everything, starting to act different, huh? You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Well, I mean, you try to get in contact with me, through all my, partners and whatnot.
Yo, this is crazy. Justin Bieber's looking like a hostage over there. Dang, man, somebody get him out of there. Jesus.
You never really got my number, so.
Okay.
My number?
Then another video resurfaced and raised eyebrows. Usher talking to Howard Stern about what he saw when he moved in with Diddy when he was just 13. His manager sent him there to learn what life as a star was all about.
I went there to see the lifestyle,
right?
And I saw it, and it was, but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at.
Biggie Smalls was there.
Biggie Smalls was there. Lil' Kim. Craig
Come on,
Mack.
Usher, just tell us about it, man. Dang.
Yeah, man. Faith Evans, Jodeci, Mary J. Blige. They ain't know nothing about this shit.
Oh.
Yeah, and listen to all the people that he's naming in here. The majority of them are alive. And Usher, this is going to be used in evidence if something comes out in the federal case, right? Usher just said, oh yeah, this and this was there. This was there. This happened. This person was in there. I saw them. And they knew I was underage. And they saw me in there drinking, taking drugs. I don't know.
I was having a good time, you know what I mean?
But Usher later expressed concern about what he was exposed to when he was living with Diddy.
Wow.
I mean, I'm 13 years old. I'm not here to party with you. I don't want to go to the clubs.
13 years
I'm
old.
too young to even be in here. Why you got me in clubs?
Dang.
There were a lot of things I seen and a lot of positions that I think I was put in where I had to make very, very tough decisions in my life about who I would be.
Usher and Bieber have not commented on the latest allegations, but other artists have taken Diddy to task. 50 Cent, who's tangled with him for years, tweeted,
50 Cent has been on
it's not Diddy
his
do it,
neck.
It's Diddy done.
He's corny. He's Uncle Tom. That's who Curtis is. He want to see the black man go down before anybody else.
Nah, no. 50's out here winning, man. That man's out here winning. I don't know what dude is talking about, but 50,
You know what I'm
he's
saying?
up right now.
He's just sore.
No, he's
just
not.
sore because his baby mother is with Puff. Don't be sore. Don't be a hater. You know what I'm saying? Get greater. So with him, he's just a troll.
Mary J. Blige, a friend of Diddy's for 30 years, posted, "Unfortunately, a lot of you all met me when I lacked boundaries and was a people pleaser. Let me reintroduce myself. I burned bridges as needed," apparently referring to her own experience with Diddy.
And a lot of people are stepping back and either denying that they were involved. They're painting this powerless narrative. Not looking good for old Diddy. Jay-Z's another one they keep bringing up too.
Diddy has befriended some of the biggest names in entertainment for decades. Yet none of those stars have come out to defend him. Not one. That may say less about Diddy
and more about Hollywood.
And that's a shout out to Harvey for that. This is a great point. Why is everybody so quiet? What are they worried about? I don't know. It might be time for Hollywood. Hollywood, y'all might be getting exposed. I love how he said this, though. I want to replay that.
Diddy has befriended some of the biggest names in entertainment for decades. Yet none of those stars have come out to
Will
defend
Smith.
him. Not one. That may say less about Diddy and more about Hollywood.
Hollywood is eerily and noticeably quiet about all of the Diddy controversy right now.
That's weird.
And I think it's a very simple reason for it. And that is people in glass houses don't want to throw stones.
Uh-oh.
What?
What does that mean? What has Diddy and Cassie seen?
Even Ashton Kutcher, who met Diddy when they both had shows on MTV,
Not Golden
and
Boy,
was one of
Ashton.
his closest friends, hasn't uttered a peep.
The radio silence around this case, in my opinion, is highly unusual. Even if you look at, say, R. Kelly, who's someone who's very much maligned and should be given what he's been convicted of, he did have supporters early on. Diddy has none. It's crickets.
A lot of these cats, they don't have, first of all, they don't have a heart. Second of all, it's like, I can't be seen standing next to him while that's going on. I don't want people to look at me funny.
Yep.
So you got those that just won't come near it because they don't want to be affected.
That's the type of world you're in.
That's the way it is.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people who are probably implicated in his events, in his activities, even if they're not criminally guilty. They just might have been at a party. They may just have been hanging out. And if he gets attached to something that is considered awful or outside the boundaries of what you're allowed to do, then no one wants to be connected to him at all.
Is there another reason
Yeah,
why
because you got to
other people
speak
ain't
on it.
speaking out in his defense?
I think a lot of people are just trying to understand it. Understand what is and what's not, you know?
Another reason people aren't coming to Diddy's defense, Diddy was allegedly obsessed with recording everything that went on in his homes.
This is a smart man.
If they have 250 cameras they took out his house, they have a whole bunch of images or footage of things that were going on around his house.
250 cameras. Y'all hear that? Jesus, man.
250 cameras they took out his house, they have a whole bunch of images or footage of things that were going on around his house. A lot of people might be running from that tape.
I don't think it's only celebrities going to be shook. He had politicians in there.
Mm-hmm.
He had princes in there.
Prince Harry was up in there.
He also had a couple of preachers in there.
TD Jakes.
Diddy is a powerful person. You don't get to be a billionaire without being powerful and without being connected to powerful people. So Diddy knows politicians, entertainers, philanthropists, academics, you name it, he's connected to them. And so if we start unraveling the thread of Diddy's networks, you're gonna find a lot of people. And like Jeffrey Epstein, some of them might be implicated.
Do you find it a little hypocritical that there are a lot of people who are so silent now, who are so quick to canceling others when they're not involved or even
That's a good point.
remotely associated?
There is an interesting contradiction that we are witnessing in real time right now. There are people who are very quick to cancel people who are very quick to say, lock them up, throw away the key. At the same time, those very same voices are saying nothing about Diddy. Now, it's not because their morals have changed. It's not because their philosophy has shifted. It's a much more simple answer to that. They're scared because they're tied up with him some way, somehow.